Hello and welcome to the non-Greg Sterlace Greg Sterlace Show. I'm your host, the Pamazon, except only the substitutes. That's right, only the substitutes. Your host, not your lost, your host. And also appearing.
Hello. Yes, I'm on the screen. I would not tell you anything very strange. Don't worry.
You will only tell us things that are strange.
Yes, I know.
Sometimes, if Pam's made chili, it's also substitutes.
The nice beanie chili.
Thank whatever deity that you subscribe to that smell-o-vision was never invented.
Well, for Leonardo.
Yes.
If you want to hear a great podcast about poop, I recommend The Brown Hour. It's very good.
It's really a podcast?
Oh, yeah, it's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
Do they play
interesting.
the brown tone to help you?
Wait, no one has found the brown tone, though.
No, but it's very good.
Also, we have the delightful Penelope here in my lap.
Penelope, I thought those were just a myth.
They're not a myth.
Oh,
Here they are.
Oh, she's so cute. I love her.
He's very cute. And big and clumsy. She jumped in the bed the other day and fell right on my head. And
Spooky.
it shocked me and woke me up in a panic because I thought someone threw a heavy thing on me. I was like, what heavy thing just fell on my head? Oh, it's Penelope. It is very cute.
It's like you just made little tiny tigers that live with people. It's so cute.
That's exactly what happened.
I
to
know,
be
but
factual.
How did you take a tiger and just start that process? I'd be too afraid to get close to
The
it.
thinking with cats and dogs is more that it was kind of a mutual domestication. It wasn't like people being like, I'm a genius, I domesticated this wolf. It's more like the wolf was like, I'm friendly, can I have some of your food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, and now I had some friends that were not from the U.S. and the country they lived in, cats were not domesticated, and there were small aggressive cats everywhere. And so when they came over, I put my cat in the bathroom, and they're sitting there, and he was not having it, and he was howling and shaking the door, and they were just like,
Where were they from?
let me out. So yeah, so not all countries, I guess, have the most domesticated cats.
Susan, when she lived in Turkey, said that they were just kind of roaming all over the streets, all over the place.
Were they aggressive or?
I think that they were friendly, but I don't think they were owned by anyone. They were just sort of roaming packs of little kitties.
Stray dogs in Russia take the subways.
Oh, really?
Yeah. To get to the little head downtown during the day to beg for food and then take them
wow.
back out where it's safer.
That's
to
pretty
sleep.
impressive.
Yeah.
Spooky. I just... Today's comic recommendation is the wonderful Camp Wedonwancha by Katie Rice, who is one of my favorite comic artists. This isn't my favorite comic by her, but I can't find my copy of Scotty comic, which is her first comic, which is my favorite. But Camp Wedonwancha is wonderful. It's all about these kids who mysteriously end up in some sort of camp that seems to be outside of time and space in some mysterious forest, and they don't know how they got there, they don't know why they're there. They all seem to have come from different places, and
I have a really cool book I should get too.
So
very
what
Puffy
you're telling
girl.
me is it's sort of
Puffy
like
girl.
a combination of Psychonauts and Gravity Falls.
yeah, it's exactly like that, I'd say.
Okay.
But I've never seen Gravity Falls, but I've played Psychonauts.
Yeah.
But Katie Rice, she's a very good artist. Pamela and I actually have a wonderful painting of hers that she gave me as a gift back in her early days as a comic artist online, next to our bed, and it's wonderful.
I recognize the art. Is she associated with anything else?
Well, she worked with John Kay for years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And it also kind of reminds me of Foster's Home for Imaginary
I think
Friends.
she was an assistant on that.
Okay, yeah. So I can see that.
I'm gonna get my cool book.
Yeah, go get your cool book.
Get your cool book.
By the way, I don't always intend these to be comics. I just sort of...
I want to do retro and indie video game reviews on here, but nobody ever gave me any feedback on that yet.
Well, I like the idea. I just... I like indie, and I like Vidya. I just beat the first Shantae again, the Game Boy one.
Yeah, I just started playing that a little bit.
The Game Boy one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. It's people don't like it online. A lot of people say it's like the worst one, and I think it's really fun.
I think it's a good one.
You know. And I just started saying the second Shantae. What were you saying, man? I'm sorry.
Oh no. This just reminded me. There's this one that's like a really big one out now, a Shantae game that is like.
Half Genie Hero. I have that. Yeah.
Oh no! Is that the one that like even the PC version when it's on sale is like $25?
Yeah, I funded the GoFundMe or whatever.
Yeah,
so I got
Half
it
Genie
early.
Hero. Yeah, I've been looking at that one.
That's
yeah.
that's my second favorite. I think. That's probably my favorite. Stefan.
A bit of no. There's a bit of kitty fur on it. It's a pop-up book. I found it in the store of thrift.
Oh, that's
Wait, hold
so
on.
cool.
You never tell me about your mysterious findings.
Right now, I'm telling you.
How rude.
That is delightful.
Telling me.
Oh,
with-
and I can
You
pull.
know, when I was a head.
You can pull tabs and like things move on every page.
When I was a kid, I had a Dinotopia pop-up book that had like full tree houses with little like carriages that you could pull up and down. It was really cool.
Oh, cool.
I love pop-up books.
Yeah, it has all sorts of like
tell
little
us about it,
pop-up.
Pamela.
Oh, it's just a cool pop-up book. Like, I mean, there's a story or something, but you know, I read it. But I mean, like, it's so cool.
It's very delightful.
I know, right? Like, the story just seems kind of.
You know, when I was a
Oh, you
kid,
can-
I used to make little pop-up books.
How did
you
Mostly
do
that?
cards and stuff. How did I do that?
Yeah, how did you do that?
The same way you do with the same way they did. You
That
figure
must
out how stuff pops up and then you make
Yeah.
it fold
Well,
that way.
fold
That must
it
have been
and-
really time-consuming, I would imagine.
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
good one.
definitely. I also used to make things like one time on the
Oh, I
train
like
to
that a lot.
Seattle, I made a small paper and paperclip train that ran around a paper track using rubber band to.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It kind of just went and then fell off.
Well, that's
'cause,
still
you
more
know,
than I can do.
but
I watched Drew Penelope. That's about all I got. Why is there a baseball player giving the finger?
I don't know.
why is that one there
I mean, I think
look
I've
like it's a corpse?
I think
What's going on
you
with
can
his
make the
face?
stars move too.
I think it is a corpse. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's like. So the character is this little lost little girl.
Oh.
Is this lost little girl?
Yeah, but she looks like a douche. She's got a backwards cap on.
Was there some kitty shenanigans?
I like the meme of the person with the
happening?
backwards cap on, with her shielding the sun with their hand.
Oh, this
It's
is
like-
a good one too. It's a.
Oh, it's a junked car. Oh, and when you as you open it, you can see the plants inside. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so
This
cool.
book must have been expensive, new.
Probably. And then there's a wolf over here. I don't know how much it costs. I actually didn't look to see.
Yes, we're
I don't see a price anywhere.
Drum roll, please.
Oh well, I don't know how much it costs.
Mysterious.
I'm mysterious.
It's a
Is this
secret.
a Stephen King?
Yes,
Problem? That's
it's like a-
fantastic.
There, this one's very. Oh, there we go. There's a monster.
Oh, I can't see the monster. Oh, it's that's actually pretty scary.
The only Stephen King
Made me
movie
tingly in the back.
I've ever seen is that one you showed me.
Oh, it's the
Which one was
Salem's
very
Lot
good?
from the 70s.
Oh,
It's
man.
a very fun one.
You know, I love bad Stephen King movie adaptations of his short stories or books.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Stephen King likes them too. He's like frequently backs them, even if they're terrible. He's like, "This is gonna be great. Let's do it." Oh my God, the Night Flyer or Graveyard Shift. Oh my God. There's some delights right there.
I have-
Graveyard Shift is really bad. Still shivers down my spine. Tommy Knockers.
I liked Salem's Lot. Salem's
Salem's
Lot.
Lot
Yeah, I
was
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very spooky and
Spooky.
it was even in a Treehouse of Horrors, you know, spoofed in Treehouse of Horrors.
I never see anyone pushing for a ghost house movie.
I wonder why.
Come on. That would be an amazing.
You what?
I just
You
noticed.
get distracted when your face popped up?
Yeah, I have Chef Boyardee in my.
Oh, you're on TV.
What?
You're on TV.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
I don't get it.
It's okay.
What?
Brain Towards.
I don't understand what's going on.
Brain
I mean, I know about TV.
Brain torts.
No, I was
Yeah.
I was just being silly.
torts.
I'm sorry. I was being silly.
Oh, no more brain torts.
What?
The words that come up on the bottom of the screen said brain torts. Towards.
All right, I'm just gonna let you guys go. I don't know.
Okay,
what's going
sorry.
on.
We'll stop.
Well,
I didn't-
Because I don't know what to say. I don't even know what's
Oh
happening.
no. Okay. So your book. What about your book? Did I cut you off, or did you say everything you wanted to
Schweppes. It's refreshing.
say?
No, can't do that.
No, I'm not advertising it. I just like
Don't
Schweppes.
buy that Schweppes.
I'm just saying it's got a cool, crisp flavor.
Kids, don't do as John does.
Yeah, my book's just... okay. Yeah, I don't know. My book's just a bunch of little kids. It's got this crazy little blonde girl and this stupid blue-haired kid. And they just, I don't know, they're like stars. And like, they just kind of like have wacky forest adventures. Well, not wacky, it's more like scary.
You've heard of Lumberjanes, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what it is. I think you've told me about it.
Yeah. And then there's another one. That's a series of, and they're kind of sound like they're similar, but less Gravity Falls-ish. You should watch Gravity Falls, even though it was
Yeah.
a Disney thing, and Disney is the root of all evil.
Katie
I
Rice.
get these students who are so crazy for Disney, and it's very hard to keep my mouth shut. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
She's going to be working on the new reboot of Animaniacs, so I'm just saying.
No.
No, I like that. I like that.
No.
Whatever.
I am neutral on Animaniacs. Just
Beth
saying.
and I tried to
I
go
don't-
back and watch Pinky the Brain and realized that it was surprisingly right-leaning for
I
a
have-
kid's cartoon.
My Pinky in the Brain knowledge is low.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really watched either show since like I was very young, but I just thought it was amusing, good to know. Katie, giving you a shout out. You're a wonderful artist, and I like your books.
Yes, the art, it looks fantastic.
But what else? I have
I should really get back into trying to do my graphic novels stuff.
Plez.
Yes. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I don't always mean to just
They
talk
need
about
some
comics,
overhauls.
Oh.
But yeah.
but I just happen to always, whenever I'm gonna like, "Ooh, what am I gonna talk about today? I'm just gonna grab this one without the drawing because it's so pretty.
I think it would be kind of cool to do the creatures that I draw, just like as a series of single images and then like spec sheets, like data about what they do and where they are and their history and stuff like in a fake world kind of thing. I have this book that's like all these spaceship crashes that's kind of like that, and I loved it as a kid. So I think
Yeah, there's some of the Toho monsters like that too.
yeah.
Like how they, like fanciful ideas of how they like shoot flames and you know how, for instance, Gamera has a rocket boosted butt.
Yeah. You see, Gamera just eats a lot of beans and has a lighter
feed
in
him
his
chili.
pocket.
We eat 'em chili all the time. Chili.
Wonder if. Oh, never mind. It's gross.
What?
No, you don't want to know.
I don't. Okay, we don't want to know.
You don't want to know. It just had something to do with Gamera, and it's, you can only imagine. So I just whatever.
Yeah, please.
Or were you just wondering if Gamera's flames are actually Gamera poop?
Well, no, it's
No, stop.
okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying I've seen how turtles do things, and I wondered if Gamera can do such a thing.
Oh, what? Breathe through its anus?
No,
Because that's the thing
I've seen turtles give themselves like self-love.
Really?
Yeah,
How
because
can they do that? They're not flexible.
Dude, they're not very flexible.
well, that's what this person who owns a lot of turtles told me the turtle was doing, and its genitalia was very weird.
Oh, okay.
And,
Oh, I don't know what. I'll have to consult the Google
and it's
later.
just in general, I was wondering, like,
I'll have to
like
I probably am not
giant
consulting.
monsters have genitalia? Like, I mean, was Godzilla even like?
He had.
Like, is Godzilla a guy? Like, what is Godzilla? Because you don't see
I feel
anything.
like if Godzilla did have genitalia, just speaking of the scale and the pressures involved, it would burst upon erection.
Because
Well-
Godzilla has a kid, but they never.
Right, and then
I think he reproduces through
Oh.
mitosis, so it's
now
just
you
like
you're
a
being loved
painful
by the
split.
Peneloper.
Just like you just
He's coming
Godzilla's
to you.
screaming for like an hour and then splits into
Ah,
a smaller Godzilla.
I don't even like
Oh,
Godzilla. so
mitosis.
Like that movie with what's his face and what's his face,
Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Evolution.
Oh.
It had Crap. X-Files and Californication.
I don't know.
David Duchovny.
Oh.
And it was about these things like landed in meteor and they evolved really quick, but they split through mitosis.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's not a very good movie, but it was okay when I was a kid.
Oh, cool. Spooky. No one likes my idea of the Ghost House movie. Whatever. It would be so spooky. It'd be a spooky film.
And see, they could save a lot of money on data storage because it's almost like still frames.
Yeah.
So they could just.
I would pay at least $35 to see the Ghost House film. Come on.
That's a lot of money.
But look at all those spooky specters on the screen with their
like,
spooky,
is this in
sexy
like
butts.
IMAX, Shutter Glasses 3D? Because
I don't want it to be high quality. It's Ghost House. I don't know. I want it to be on like VHS in like a basement.
Well, I have to see if my VHS still works.
Spooky.
I haven't tried it. It is
spooky
spooky.
tape.
VCR.
My spooky VCR.
I think it'd be funny to record an entire episode of this show.
Oh crap!
To
I just realized I lent out my DVD player and I don't know where it is. Oh well. Yeah, I can just go to the thrift store.
Yeah, but I've got one.
I have
That's
like
cool.
3 PS2s. You can have one
Okay.
to do that with.
Hey y'all, just a public service reminder. If you go to infringebuffalo.org, you can sign up to take part in the buffalo infringement, and whatever you want to do within reason, provided no one gets hurt, we'll give you space to do it. And almost any media, in fact, I said that to somebody and they said, fine, I'm going to walk down Allen Street in a bikini and give out poetry. I'm like, awesome.
That's really not that bizarre.
I know, they seem to think I would say no, but
That
I
seems
said,
like something
that's
people
great.
would just do anyway. That's not that crazy.
I'm going to dress as an ape and throw my own at people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like, well, one year someone had, a hot dog, and then they'd be a slice of pizza, and then they'd be different food every day and read their poetry during infringement on the streets of Allentown. So,
As long as you don't
Who
tell
was the
me,
one who
my
baked
sister
their
did.
nards
Whatever,
on the
that was
parking
gross.
lot next to the?
Krusty,
Oh, okay.
they come in from Cincinnati. Uh-oh, is she falling? Wow, that's rare that she uses her claws. She usually keeps them in.
I got kitty.
She's
It's
giving you
karma
such a
for saying nards on TV.
She's giving you she gave you such a loving look, though. She was like, oh, pet me. What were you going to say, John? Your
Every time I
sister-
think of infringement, that gross time they told me and my sister to like, hey, you guys should make love. It's like, oh, shut up, God. It was so gross. That was my first infringement experience.
But they didn't know your brother and sister.
But I know, but don't just like. I'm not gonna say that to two random people because they could be, and it's like,
Hey, randos.
yeah, hey guys,
randos, get it on.
Go get it on over there. I'll watch.
Also, I find it weird that, like, I don't know.
What?
I can't remember what I was going to say. It just slipped my mind. I've been drinking for several hours.
It's Beth's birthday.
Yeah, it is Beth's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
you.
Happy
Oh,
birthday to you. Happy birthday, Beth.
And you look like a zoo. Wait, no.
Happy birthday to
I like zoos.
you.
Well, I like the
There we go. There's a smooth birthday.
I like the idea of seeing all sorts of animals I wouldn't normally see. I'm not
Yeah.
super fond of zoos necessarily.
I concur, but I want to see Sadie the seal.
When people are like, "Oh, you should go into the reptile room," and I'm like, my nostrils say no.
But Sadie the seal is so cute.
I was running and
Oh, you know Sadie the seal, the song. Oh, the lure of the sea, the tricks that I do while I'm at the zoo make many friends for me. Oh, just throw me a ball, I won't let it fall. I'll catch it on my nose, and then if you wish, just throw me a fish, and down my mouth it goes.
But if you watch Blackfish, then you'll never want to go to any place like that ever again.
that's the word.
What's Blackfish?
It's a movie about like those places that have whales and stuff that they
Yeah.
train.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. They're very rude. They're very wrong.
Speaking of reptiles, I was in the park in Cheektowaga, Siegelmeyer, And I'm like running through the park. La la, this is fun times. Let's run through the park.
Boa constrictor landed on you.
It did, yes, but I haven't told that on TV yet. Shh. It fell out of the freaking tree. That's stuff that's only supposed to. Yes. It fell out of the tree.
Like somebody was like, I'll just release my snake in the woods.
Pretty much,
I've always
yes.
wanted to. That's
Pretty much,
crazy.
somebody just released a. Yeah, they're like, I'm sick of this thing.
Wait, it was an actual boa constrictor?
It was not a native snake for sure.
Was it big?
It was very big and it was black and yellow.
No, thanks.
It fell.
You never tell me that. You
Out
never
of
tell
the
me these
tree,
good stories.
and
She's literally told it on the show before.
No,
Well,
I haven't told on the show, I don't
Yes,
think.
Yeah, 100% have. Yeah.
Tom says no.
I don't know. What?
Really? I'm
No, I've
pretty
told
sure
to you.
Yeah, like a month ago.
No.
I
See?
don't remember such a story.
I've told you it, but I haven't told
you've
on the
told
show.
me.
Yes, I've not
Whatever.
told on the
I
show.
get excluded from everything.
Well, like, I totally screamed and the snake hit the ground, and then because I screamed, the snake was like, "Oh God, what's happening?"
Well, what
and it like
happened?
was trying to get away, and it was in a knot, and I just kind of stood there defeated, and these men came running, and they're like, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And I'm like, "Snake." And I felt
Where
so
was this?
stupid.
What park?
Stiegelmeyer, but like snakes in New York don't drop out of trees.
No.
Also, they tend not to be super large.
Yeah. So it was very alarming.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I can't imagine getting tree snaked.
Yeah.
And while we do have rattlesnakes, as long as you stay away of long abandoned piles of wood and brush, you're probably okay.
I got
Yeah.
scared of a rattlesnake once. I was walking and I was trying to pick up a bunch of stuff and like go fishing and pick up this cage and it was under a bunch of wood and I freaked out and it ran away.
Were there
And
rattlesnakes over
remember,
there?
red next to black, he's a friend of Jack. Red next to yellow, he's a dangerous fellow.
Oh.
That's two types of snakes that are red, black, and yellow.
I've always wanted to make a show for children about teaching them about reptiles and call it the Reptile Zone. Just
Would you-
Reptile Zone, no the.
Would you do it like Tiny Tim style, where like talking about climate change and the melting poles is just like, oh,
Everything I do is Tiny Tim
it's
style. If I'm not
exploding."
doing it like Tiny Tim to
so
some
you'd
degree.
be like, and this thing can kill you.
I was gonna be like a full Australian. All right, kids, today we've got, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna teach you about this little blue guy.
As long as you don't have a stingray sticking off your front, because that's bad taste.
Bad
No,
taste,
no.
yes.
but Steve Irwin was my other hero as a child, so I just want to also be
Although-
like him.
That would be a pretty easy Halloween costume.
It would, yeah.
Oh,
And
dear.
also, you'd probably get a lot of jeers.
Yeah, probably, yes. People are probably like, what the? What the
What's
hell
wrong with you? You're a monster.
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
like Halloween.
That'd be like if Bob Ross got crushed by an elevator and you dressed his legs in an elevator.
Yes, that would. That would. We were talking about Totes My Goats the other day.
Totes My Goats.
Yeah, I have a Totes My Goats mask.
Did you know Beth is afraid of masks?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and there was somebody who had a video on. Somebody sent her a GIF on Facebook. It was you, I think, of the horse GIF.
I did.
And she was like,
I did. I didn't
she was all
know.
like freaked out by
I
it.
didn't
She's
know.
like, why did you send this to me?
I have
No.
Alfred E.
Trying to
Newman
torture
mask.
I was looking for
She
something that.
finds the horse masks particularly unsettling.
Oh
He's
no!
a fucked up brony mate.
I was thinking like, oh, what will have be impactful for Beth? I guess I didn't think of what kind of impactful. Yeah, have you seen Toast My Goats? You've seen Toast My Goats.
I
yeah.
think so.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's really funny. If you haven't seen the Toast My Goats, hit the Googles. Hit the Googles.
But not in the same way that my grandma does, where she's like, I need to look up something at Dick's Sporting Goods. Dicks.com.
Oh no.
Oh my!
Yeah, one of my favorite bands is The Sword, and if you type in thesword.com, it goes to a very extreme, like, penis site.
Oh. Hmm.
So that's why their website is swordofdoom.com.
Ew.
That's yeah. No, I've done stuff. I've Googled the wrong things in front of students before, you know.
Oh, like when you didn't know what twink meant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the early aughts, whatever. The internets were new, and there was this
The
band called
internets were new,
Twink.
if by new you mean already
They were
like.
pretty new. I mean,
Yeah.
no, they weren't. They didn't have all the things they have now. Videos were like, you know,
yeah.
herky jerky blocks of stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, the band's named Twink. Let me just look up the site. Yeah, my students got a good laugh out of that.
Huh.
Oh. I remember one time I was at a. I remember
It
one
was
time I was at
education.
a VOA somewhere in Rochester, and I found an old Macintosh LC, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And I really wanted it, and but I didn't end up getting it, which I regret. But I like powered it up and everything. I was looking through it, and I found a bunch of like old, like 1-bit, like black and white, dithered GIFs of porn.
Oh, wow.
Porn GIFs.
Do you still have those? Because that would be fun to make art with, I would think.
No, but I guess I could just be like, hey,
just make 'em,
friends,
I
who
guess.
wants to get naked in front of my Game Boy camera? It's about the same thing. You know?
Or you could just reduce the resolution on
Yeah.
something.
This feels like cheating, though.
I mean, oh, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Like, at work, you know, if my students get into the black and white show, I might have to print their images digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Because I no longer have access to the darkroom, and that seems like cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But it also seems like I gotta do what I gotta do, you know?
I once cheated in high school to get better contrast out of a picture that just was not going to have it by scanning my print and then enhancing it, and then using inkjet printer photo paper to print it out,
Oh,
passing it off as a print.
it's printed.
Printed. It was a print.
So we're playing April 13th at the Milkies, right?
Oh, yes.
At
I
the
think so.
Milkies?
At the Milkies.
Apparently, I did. Yes. Yes.
And then, yes, we're playing.
Yeah.
Should be fun.
I feel like
Yes.
Milky's is a weird fetish strip club that has neon signs with big pendulous breasts on
Hey,
it.
come on down to Milky's, kid. Come on, it's a good time. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk business, all right? Come on down to Milky's. That's where we got the goods.
It's very It's very loungy for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I just mean the name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Milky's is probably my favorite. Not quite a dive bar.
Yes. It's not.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yes.
You got an itchy nose.
Yes, take a dive, children. Let's take a dive into the seedy underworld of Buffalo bars. Well, it's wonderful.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I feel like the seedy underworld of Buffalo bars is something I probably couldn't get that into because I have biked and driven by some places that looked pretty sketch, and none of them are anywhere near as nice as Milky's. So
No, there's some very, very gross bars. I've been into many gross bars, and they're very gross. There's just drunk people on the floor, rats running around. It's very gross.
Don't name names.
Don't
name
I'm
names,
not,
but
but you
wow.
know who you are. And they're
Really?
just like,
Rats?
whatever, it's fine, just let it go. And
Rats and people on the floor.
oh yeah, one time
Wow.
these two girls started kicking the shit out of each other, and like, the one just kind of fell and passed out, and they're just like, whatever, let it go.
Oh.
She'll be fine later. And that was just like, it was very gross.
Wow.
But I mean, I enjoy the stories that I can tell later, so I don't mind. Because I'll see it. I'll get a glimmer in my eye. Like, this is great. This is insane. I could tell this later. It's so crazy.
you should keep a journal of weird people watching.
Yeah, I've seen some
And
strange
then you
people.
should turn it into a comic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
That would
like,
be really
like,
fun.
You have all these great weird stories that we just look at you and go, and they make a great comic. Especially if it had a disclaimer. This is like, disclaimer. This is actually not bullshit.
Yeah, I'll just call it.
Call
us.
Hey,
Yeah.
call us.
Text us.
Tell us your gross stories of getting beat up in a bar and
406
having rats. do unsettling things to you while you're passed out.
Unsettling.
Either one. They're both. But if you can't speak it, just text it.
Unsettleable.
You can't settle it.
Just send us pictures of cats. We like cats.
Unspeakable.